At the end of today's fishing show, we're going to tell you how you can win a fishing charter with yours truly. Hey guys, this is Captain Botelho of the charter boat Soggy Bottom with Destin's Ultimate Guide Service, here with your favorite Emerald Coast fishing report brought to you by Get the Coast. This week we're going to fill you in on what's been happening with both inshore and offshore fishing, what's been happening out on the water, as well as give you some safety tips to better your experience and keep your crew safe while doing so. So what's been happening out on the water not fishing related? Well, there was this clip of a lady being rescued under the Destin Bridge by the FWC and a guy being pulled out of the water as he kept getting pulled further away from Crab Island and his boat. There were a lot of comments around both videos, so I just wanted to touch base on Crab Island safety and how to help prevent situations like this. With Crab Island being so close to the pass, the tides can pull extremely hard both on the incoming and outgoing tide. It is extremely important to make sure that when this happens, that those out on the island keep to the shallow waters where you can stand so you don't get into a strong rip current that may pull you towards the bridge and potentially out of the pass on an outgoing tide. If you are unable to do so, your best bet is to use the current in your favor and swim with it as you're being taken out to get to a nearby beach or shoreline. Most drownings occur from the people fighting the current, which some days you will never win with the amount of current that comes through that bridge. Also, stay clear of the concrete at the bridge as it tends to funnel current stronger and can have a pull down effect if you get too close. Another video that made its rounds is this clip from Captain Mike Eller of the charter boat Lady M. It shows an incident between his charter boat and a parasailing boat outside of the Destin Pass, in which the parasail boat came a little too close to Captain Mike as he was heading out for an afternoon charter. Being that I am a captain who deals with this every day, I want to stress the importance of boater safety out there as we all want to make it home safely. Several boat captains make their living out of Destin, and it is extremely important for us to keep our customers safe as we know how to do so. So let's all agree to stick to the rules of the road and try to steer clear of one another. Finally, sharks. Everyone loves seeing videos of sharks. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office posted this cool video of a tiger shark out in the Gulf. I've been seeing several sharks recently, as we normally do this time of year, especially after a big push like we just had from Tropical Storm Cindy. These guys tend to feed early morning and late afternoons, so swim with caution and keep your eyes on your surroundings. Whatever you do, don't be this guy. He's a prime example of if you play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. Okay, now let's move on to the fishing report. In the bay, we're finding a few trout as well as mangrove snappers, bluefish, ladyfish. The trout bite has been pretty hit and miss, as it tends to be this month when it gets extremely hot. I'm not sure how the night fishing around dock lights has been working out for people, but I would imagine that would be the best time to get after them, as they tend to feed in the cool hours of the night this time of year. The redfish have been here and there. I'm seeing a few keepers as well as some giant bulls being caught. Look for the outgoing tide around Destin and make sure you have options to present them, as sometimes they get extremely finicky as to what they'll eat. I recommend herring, pilchards, which we call greenies, spot minnows, menhaden, and croakers as my favorite baits to be in my arsenal. Generally, when we have a ton of rain and the fish tend to move closer to the pass where the saltier water can be found due to the flooded rivers pumping rainwater into the Choctawhatchee Bay, so keep this in mind whenever you plan your trip. There have also been small schools of big redfish cruising on the beach inside of the second sandbar, which can be caught from the shore or on a boat sight fishing. Inshore, the tarpon bite has been on fire. I'm not sure how much longer it will last, but I'd be surprised if it stays through the end of July, as it tends to cut off usually before July is over. So if you haven't got one, you better get after them. Most people are using 40 to 80 pound mono with a 5 to 7/0 circle hook to get the job done. Usually 20 to 30 pound mainline is the best choice. My good buddy Captain Kirk Ogren with the ship's Chandler has been catching several of these big guys lately, and he has shared a few of his pictures this week with him getting up close and personal with some giants. A little too personal if you ask me. Also, snappers are still open on the weekends in state waters, including Friday through September 4th. They will close for the federal charter boats on July 14th, but will remain open in federal waters on the weekends for the private recreational fishermen until September 4th as well. The bite has been good after Tropical Storm Cindy. I imagine that was from the nice push we had from the storm. I also caught 3 nice keeper gag groupers this week inshore, which was a great bonus after that decent storm. The Spanish and king mackerels have been hit or miss lately, but I have had a few great days on them both recently. It seems like all the rain we've had recently that can make the water close dirty has been fouling up the bite a bit, at least near shore. I have heard of a few sailfish this week hitting the beach. I even pulled a hook on 2 Friday morning on my fishing charter. I guess my rubber hooks just aren't cutting it. There are many ways to get the kings and sailfish to bite, but my personal favorite is to slow troll live baits over bottom spots, fads, and natural bottom areas where they tend to hang out. If you're just looking to catch fish, the amberjacks and triggerfish have been savage. They aren't in season, but both are fun to catch. Make sure to fish still when looking for jacks, as that's where they tend to be. The bait makes all the difference. Make sure to use heavy tackle when jack fishing, as you'll break off and kill less fish from long fights that overstress the fish. Get your pictures quick and send them home. They may not be in season, but my customers can't seem to get enough of it, and for most, it's the biggest, hardest fighting fish they've felt before, and like I always say, a memory lasts you way longer than a meal. If it's dinner you're after, red snapper, vermilion, and mangrove snappers tend to be the best to target for the frying pan. Groupers have been hit and miss, but there's been some giants caught by our federal guys this year. I recently spent 4 days offshore fishing with Captain Gary Jarvis and his first mate Travis Chun on the charter boat back down 2. On our overnight trip, the sword fishing was on fire. We went 4 for 4 with our big one weighing in over 150 pounds. As soon as we returned, we left out on a 3-day trip, and let me just say these boys know how to put you on the fish. We went 2 for 2 on white marlin, 2 for 2 on a pair of sorties, and were able to add a decent grade of yellowfin tunas as well as red snappers, snowy groupers, and some golden tilefish. This was the trip of a lifetime, and I'm extremely grateful to the captain and crew for having me. It looks like since I've returned, the blue marlin fishing has gotten pretty good, as there have been quite a few getting caught in the last couple of weeks. I know the mahi-mahi bite was tough out there for a while, but I have been seeing a few more hitting the docks lately, especially the wahoo, who have made several appearances at the docks recently. I haven't heard much about the yellowfins lately, but there have been some nice ones weighed in recently. Seems like the rigs have been slower this year as far as the tunas, but there have been some giants being caught trolling in open water around good current rips and grass lines. Now that we've covered the spectrum of fishing out of Destin, let's take a look at some awesome fishing pictures taken recently on the docks and off the boats of some of our favorite charter boats. We all know the famous fisherman saying, "Pictures or it didn't happen." Before I leave you this week, I'd like to mention again that we are giving away a free 4-hour fishing charter with yours truly on my boat, the Soggy Bottom. All you have to do is share our report on your Facebook and you will have a chance to win. We will announce the winner on next week's show, so make sure you tune in to see if you've won. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Get the Coast and at Destin's Ultimate Guide. Don't forget to tune in next week, as we will be going into depth on how to throw your cast net to catch better baits so you can spend less time fishing and more time catching.